we are, once again, to talk about Twilight Zone. Now we're on,
Yes, sir.
what is it, episode 4?
Episode Quattro.
Quattro.
Season Uno.
Yeah, so,
as it appears on Netflix.
this episode's a little slow, for my taste, and the
That
twist...
was a little bad.
The twist is a little, less than fantastical.
So this is what I was talking about, I think, in the first episode.
Sure.
When I was like, it's amazing how some of the... And, like, I expected everything in between to be this or whatever the fuck, but it was like, you know, we got some good ones peppered into there somehow or whatever. Because some of them are really good, but some of them are just like, could you believe it? It wasn't Earth? And that's it. There's like no other...
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, that's... I kind of assumed maybe something was up, and I guess that was what
The
was up.
premise of this
Yeah.
movie, which is kind of like, it's like an episode rather, which is kind of sad, is this like washed up older actress, and we're trying to relive her glory days.
Yes.
She's like, you know, Hollywood's not calling her anymore, so she's just like watching her shit in the dark, like constantly. She's well off because she has like a mansion and a
Yeah.
maid.
But she doesn't want money.
But yeah, she wants to be in the limelight. She just is picturing all the people she worked with and how good it was, and I just want that.
Well, so like that part I liked.
Okay.
That's the good part. So when like the twist and like the Twilight zoniness of it, the like quintessential the Twilight Zone thing, when that part sucks, I have to fall back on like, oh, people used to act and like you know, talk a certain way and all that shit. And she was
Yeah.
an aging starlet from the earlier filmy times, and this was in the like late 50s or early 60s
Sure.
when it was filmed. So it fit in perfectly with that whole thing. And it's like, you play a mother, well, I never, and all that stuff. She's doing
Yeah.
all those things, and I was like, right on. This is like a little time capsule of
At a certain
weird
point, you got to
history.
realize how old you are. When
Yes.
you're like in your 50s, if you're not playing mothers, you're not playing.
Exactly. It's like she
You
was
could
like
play either
deranged.
like a single woman who is a 50, or you could play a married woman who is 50. But either way, you're gonna have a
Yeah.
kid. It's like 20.
I've always liked that though in like a movie when someone and you know the aging starlet is like the trope or whatever.
Raging against the
they're-
dying of the light, Captain, my
Dude,
Captain.
like the once brilliant star and the firmament no longer part of the night sky or something like
Yeah.
that. The fucking intro. I'm like, oh, amazing.
Yeah. Rod knows what he's doing.
I wonder if he wrote all those.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I can't even deliver them off the top of my head after writing them down, and he just goes in.
The issue with like this episode was like the twist was not very good. She ends
No.
up just going back, having like she says she wants to go to this party with all these stars, and her agent or friend or whatever is like, some of those are dead, they're retired, they don't live in this area anymore. You're not gonna get those people.
And he was a really bad actor. Like I always talk up like how like good the performances are in these old things. I thought he was like shockingly bad.
I meant to look up who that was.
Okay.
Because I don't think it was him, but it looked a lot like the guy from Quantum Leap to me. The hologram
Ziggy,
guy.
we gotta go with Ziggy says you gotta go to the next thing. No, this guy was much bigger than that guy. I
It
think.
looked to
Yeah.
me like that. Like it
He's
could've
that
been-
type. Yeah.
I wanted to know, like, is that his brother or his cousin, or I'm like, how long ago
his
did could it
grandfather.
be his father? Like, well, because I was trying to think, I'm like, how
Yeah.
old was he when that show took place? Like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
like it could have been 10 years. Like, because what was that? It was in '59, and then what year was Quantum Leap? Like the '70s, right? So it could have
62.
it could have worked.
I'm
No,
joking.
it could have worked, but it probably wasn't him.
Yeah. No, I was like jarred because like everyone else is like a very simple character. She chews up the scenery and it's like her main thing, and then like cause the maid was nothing special, but that's fine. But like he was, you know, for how much he was in it and how much dialogue he had, I thought he was really bad.
The maid I thought was actually bad because she
Right.
like her overreactions of things like,
That was crazy.
Oh, where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're behind the TV. Oh, you're on the TV. Like
At one
"Oh."
point, I wrote, you know, maid walks in, empty chair, screams, underlined it, like what, something like that.
Yeah.
She was bad, but she was like you know, like a small part. So I'm like, okay, or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
I don't know. Marty, her like agent guy. I don't know.
Marty.
I did not write his name down.
Red Ferrari Marty living in L.A.
Holy shit.
Bumps on the line.
We
again.
gotta. No, this is like, so it was like bad. So like, not only like the whole twist thing didn't make sense, and sometimes it's not gonna make sense, and you're gonna be like, oh, back then people didn't think about like the laws of physics or whatever. But that's not even what I'm talking about, because like. She goes into the thing later, and she said, like, it's like after she's collapsed as like a person. She's like broken, and she says, if I wish hard enough and all that shit, she can go into it. But the maid has said earlier, sometimes I go in there and I swear I see her up on that screen. So she already has this power, even though she hasn't fully collapsed into this depression yet or whatever the
That's
fuck.
to me how she's so crazy and why she's predicting things. 'Cause
Okay.
she's not only seeing the pictures on the wall and watching her movies, she is hanging out and talking to these people.
She's in
still
there.
living that life,
Right.
and that's why she can't live in reality.
But this is not the story of like a metaphorical where she's doing that,
No.
and then somehow in the Twilight Zone she can get herself sucked into there. She was like dabbling in this witchcraft the whole time.
Yeah.
So why does this collapse drive her? It's like this crazy.
Or there's the switch of like, you know, the maid's stupid, because the maid walks in, sees her on the TV, and is like, oh, and then sees her walk from behind the TV and goes, oh. I'm like, she was a star. She's on those films.
I know.
Occasionally you do see her on the TV because she
Yes.
was on the TV.
And if that was the answer, then that's even worse because they put in that you know, they drop in that, you know, that line of dialogue. Sometimes I swear I see it on the screen or whatever for some reason for us to be like, wait a minute or something like that.
I would love Marty to be like, you realize she was a film actress. She was.
It's a projector, Janet. She's on the screen.
You're an idiot, lady. Let me just slap you. You're hysterical.
You're hysterical. Where's your husband? It's 50s. Yeah, so like that dude is like, listen, I'm gonna snap her out of it. I'm gonna find one of her co-stars in all of his glory and like present him to her and be like, bitch, look here.
Was that the same guy? Did they do aging makeup?
He looks so weird and bad that I thought they must have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was even the younger her played by her?
So like as I'm watching this, it's fairly obvious what's gonna happen. And I was hoping for some fucking crazy thing where, like, she's up on the screen and she's, like, killed the other her or something crazy like that has happened. or
and taken over in the
And now it's her and she's like, come on, now we have to do this or something.
I would love that.
All right, but, like, there's nothing like that. And, like, part of why I was like, oh, it's not going to be that is because in the movie it's just the exact same actress. And I don't want to be critical of her like looks or whatever, but she looked the exact same age too. They didn't even like do whatever whatever they could do or something like that. So I was like, oh no, she's just gonna be. It's just gonna be. And like, yes, this is like a very straightforward episode. So there's just nothing or something. And like that guy comes and visits her, but then that's it, right? He doesn't come back.
No, that's it.
Right. So I expected her to be like, no, come, like, stay with me. It can be better now. We can all do that, or some like crazy weird thing like that. Something, but just nothing happened. She like dropped the thing, and I'm like, I bet that'll be on the ground. And then it was on the ground, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Fuck. Okay. Because then he's like, this is proof or something like that. She's gone, and you just saw her in a scene that was never filmed. Why do you need physical proof? This is crazy.
Yeah. No, everything about this episode did not really intrigue me, and I honestly from the opening jump, I was like, "Oh, what's this one gonna be?" When it was like inside this, it was a scene from the movie as it started.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, what is this? Is this War and Peace?"
Dear.
I think I'm out.
Oh dear, I'm punching out.
Yeah. So not my favorite episode.
I was gonna say, I already
not a
got
lot worth noting in this episode because it was very straightforward. It was like 75% her just brooding in her man cave, and then it was her.
You can't call it a man cave. It's very sexist.
A woman cave sounds like it could be sexual.
Man cave.
But yeah, this wasn't a good episode. I would skip this one and move on to this episode 5.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably at the end actually go through and be like, here, of the season, these are like the 6 you need to watch or something like that, right?
Well, thumbs up.
That can be our, it can be our contribution to like whatever. So if you're taking this journey with us, yes, this was not a high point.
No.
Is there anything to note whatsoever?
There was nothing about this that I was like, usually you can pull something out like, well, that was cool.
Yeah,
like conceptually, the idea of going into a TV is cool, but they didn't like. Oh, you know what? Actually, one thing I walked away from this was, did you catch that she said, well, why don't you just go right to the devil? Because they can't say hell.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've like second guessed myself on my like conclusion about some of that because I'm hearing it like third hand from people on like podcasts like today about how it used to be or something. I'm like, I don't even know what.
Well,
year,
she definitely said go meet the devil or go to the devil or go live with the devil. It was something like that, and I was like, oh yeah, still hasn't said hell.
Well, you can just frig off in heck. Like,
yeah.
What? So like that's the final thing I guess is like putting it in context for that time period. Do you think pre-Poltergeist, pre-The Ring, like a million movies having people getting sucked into things or whatever the fuck, like a dream sequence of Family Matters, like everyone's getting sucked into to like television and movies and all that stuff for our whole lives. Do you think if you'd never heard of this concept that would be enough of like a holy shit to like make this a cool thing?
I think I would always been like, maybe in like 20 years from now, if I was then when this came out, I'd be like, ooh. But like even then,
what do you
like,
mean?
I think even at my age now,
okay,
if this just came out, I'd be like, boring. Couldn't we have done something else? Maybe she could have entered some sort of better movie.
Pie eating contest?
Yeah.
What? So I kind of agree. I wanted to dangle that out there just to try to have a thing of like maybe there's some hope. But I think this one in particular, because some of the stuff where it's like, well, they've probably never portrayed the fake devil as like a weird nervous bureaucrat or something like that.
No,
but,
yeah, this show's ahead of
here,
its time with a lot of original first concepts. Doesn't mean they're all good.
No, and like here, I literally don't think because as a kid I would have been like, what is the mechanism by which she enters the film? What is this power? I don't understand this power. Because she said she has to wish really hard. Couldn't she have wished for something cooler, like robot legs?
Yeah. All right, guys. That's what happened in episode 4 of Twilight Zone. Until next time, don't die in a fire.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Die in a fire.